Good morning and welcome to the Midas Minerals Investor Webinar. All attendees are in a listen-only mode. If you would like to ask a question to the company, please enter it into the Q&A panel within Zoom. I'll now hand over to Midas Minerals Managing Director, Mark Calderwood. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, everyone, for joining. This webinar will focus on Midas's Otavi project, which we're currently acquiring, located in Namibia. Next page. So this project we acquired off a major called Nexa. It is partly private owned and partly New York listed. A big major zinc producer, one of the world's largest zinc producers, and this is mainly a copper project located in, as I mentioned, in Namibia. They've done a lot of work on this project. They've spent about 20 million US on the project. A lot of core drilling, lots of significant drill hits, lots of geochem anomalies that haven't been tested yet, rock chips, etc. It's a big package. Between Otavi and South Otavi, it's about 2,000 square kilometres. For Otavi, we're acquiring 100% of the project. You can see some of the intercepts there. You know, very, very good widths, very high grade copper with silver credits. Some of them have gold and silver credits. The deposits start from surface and extend down to depth. They're all open. Everything that's been drilled so far is still open-ended. So quite an exciting project. And Midas has a team with pretty significant African experience. I was first CEO of Perseus Mining. I was also involved with the Kibali project in Congo. And other people in the company have had other experience in other parts of Africa. So Namibia is one of the easy countries to work in Africa. It's a tier 1 country. It's got excellent infrastructure, good fiscal arrangements, and quite a lot of success in mining in recent years. Next page. Next page, please. Yeah, thanks. A little bit about company. This snapshot is based on the shares we recently issued, plus the shares that we will issue in tranche 2, subject to shareholder approval. Market cap based on the full lot is about $42 million, and the cash and bank balance is based on June 30 plus the March 30 plus the placements. Net proceeds is about $6.7 million in cash. Pretty significant shareholding by the board, including myself and other significant shareholders. So a lot of skin in the game on this for everybody. Next page, please. A little bit more on the board. You can read this online later. Next page, please. So location, we're located about 3 hours north of Windhoek and about 500 kilometres inland from Walvis Bay Port. Pretty significant area. Located close to us is the B2 Otjikoto mine, which is about a 3 million ounce deposit. To the north of us is the old Suneb mine. That produced about 6 million tonnes of copper, lead and zinc. So one of the great base metal mines of the world. It's still got a operating smelter at Suneb. And also other mines nearby to us, the Combat copper lead mine. And then further to the south of us, you've got a whole bunch of significant gold deposits. Some of you might know of Weir Gold. They've got a couple of million ounces of gold. And closer to the coast, you've got the uranium companies. Quite a few big companies operating in Namibia. It's deemed as one of the best countries, top few countries to operate in. Royalty rates are pretty good. Export levy and some taxes. But it's a great area. We've got rail, high tension power, good roads, and where we are, there's no water issues. So we're in a higher rainfall area compared to, say, where the uranium guys are. So water is less of an issue up in our end. In fact, we'll probably have excess water from our project areas. Next page, please. A little bit more detail, zoom in there where the project is. There's two deposits that are ready for resource drilling, infill resource drilling, and that's T13 and Deblin. T13 is a high-grade chalcocite deposit with high silver, and Deblin is a chalcopyrite, bornite with a bit of gold and a bit of silver. They are the two that we will start resource drilling on. And then we have a bunch of other prospects that we will advance some of those to resource drilling as fast as we can. So by the end of the year, we want to have half a dozen deposits that we consider are ready for resource drilling as we bring T13 and Deblin forward and get resources out of them early next year. Next page, please. This is looking at the T13, where T13 is. T13 is only one of a large number of anomalies within a 30-kilometre zone. It's one of the better drilled ones that Nexa drilled. It was a new discovery. It comes to surface, but it was never found historically. And you can see by the grades, very, very impressive. Good widths, predictable dip to it. So it's quite a regular ore body, tabular, easy to mine, combination open cut and underground. But it's the grade that really works there. It's going to be a fairly impressive deposit when it's finished when we finish drilling it. But there's a bunch of other things along strike that we're looking at, and we'll RC drill some of those and try and locate some more deposits to add to that cluster. Next page, please. The Deblin end of the project area. So Deblin and T13 are located about 70 kilometres from each other. Deblin has less drilling on it, but towards the end of the drilling program, they picked up a couple of pretty significant drill hits. As I mentioned before, these are more chalcopyrite and bornite type deposits. But it's early days at Deblin, but there's quite considerable potential for tonnage. But also in that area, there's a bunch of other prospects that have had a few drill holes on them. And you can see some of the hits there, 11 metres at 3% from near surface with gold and silver credits. Dracupes hasn't been drilled since the 70s, and that had a number of good drill hits in it, including and containing gold as well. So there's a significant number, again, about a 30-kilometre strike of geochemical and rock chip anomalies, the odd drill hole. So we expect to have a few deposits here that we would resource drill over time. So again, it's quite exciting. Good grades, again, around the 2% copper, and that's what we're targeting. We're targeting 1.5% and better copper mineralization with decent silver and gold credits. Next page, please. South Otavi project, that's one that's we picked up near Deblin, to the west of Deblin. It's located about 25 kilometres north of the Otavi gold mine. We picked it up because it's got a nice gold anomaly on it, bedrock RAB drilling, bottom of hole RAB sampling, quite reasonable gold numbers. It also has a Deblin style copper anomaly on it. We've done a little bit of soils on that as part of our due diligence, and we're currently trenching there. So we've started trenching samples in the lab, and then we'll work out where we want to drill. We'll obviously have to drill test the gold anomaly. It's under calcrete. It can't be trenched, can't be soil sampled. But the copper one, we're trenching that at the moment. So we'll look to bring a rig in as soon as we can. First results from trenching should be out this quarter. Interesting geological setting. It has a bit of some quite similar settings to Otavi. And as I mentioned, the copper is quite similar to Deblin. The setting for the copper mineralization quite close, similar to Deblin. Next page, please. As I mentioned, this region has quite a lot of mining, good infrastructure, Our exploration strategy will be to start resource drilling straight away with at least 2 rigs. Then we'll have 1 rig on RC rig on exploration, testing targets, and then as we discover decent mineralization in those areas, we'll bring in more resource rigs, and we'll build up our resource rigs throughout the year as we progress. So we're targeting multiple deposits, better than 2% better than 2% copper with some, as I mentioned, decent precious metals. And so far everything's favourable metallurgically, and that's what we'll focus on: deposits that are favourable in terms of both mining widths and metallurgy. Next page, please. So, as the project, we're waiting for completion of the tenement transfers. We expect that to happen sometime in Q3. We'll commence drilling on the main Otavi project as soon as that happens. In the meantime, we will prepare for drilling. So we're building our team. We're taking over the office next week, site office, the core shed. We'll be on the ground. We'll be preparing for drilling. We've identified drilling contractors. We'll possibly in Q2 start drilling on South Otavi. We can drill on that one anytime we want. So it's either going to be late Q2 or early Q3 that we'll start drilling on South Otavi, and then hopefully mid Q3 we'll be drilling with multiple rigs on the Otavi main project. And then we'll push the drilling. We expect to have an initial resource estimate out in Q1, but we can bring some of that forward if we like. We have a fair bit of data already. We have about, as I mentioned, 56,000 meters of core, and once we relog some of that, it'll be pretty well advanced on some areas. But anyway, we're looking at Q1 with drilling starting in Q1 next year for resources, initial resources, with drilling anticipated for Q3 this year. Next page, please. So I guess the key messages for Midas is that we have a large, exceptional, high-grade copper project in a world-class region in Namibia. It has early discoveries, as I mentioned. 2 deposits, T13 and Devlin, are what I would say advanced and ready for infill resource drilling. But we have hundreds of other drill targets. We will obviously pick the ones that we believe have the best size to them, but we'll work through the list, and that will give us some good, strong news flow throughout the year. And the projects are really nice. The copper is almost 0 lead, 0 zinc, copper, silver, gold. So they're all good commodities. They're good widths. So they're both the T13 and Devlin have, on average 15 meters or better widths to them. They start from surface. They've got good metallurgy, so they're ideal for development. We've got a good team. So we've got our three Aussie geos all going over next week. We've got two Namibian geologists already, and we're going to start building up a strong team in country. I've got a lot of experience in Africa with the Perseus years, so this is not breaking new ground for us. And I guess the other key message is that management has a significant amount of skin in the game. Next page, please. So I'll leave it there and hand over to questions. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Just a reminder, if you would like to ask a question, please enter it into the Q&A panel within Zoom. So I've just had a few come through. So the first one's, you're targeting an initial mineral resource estimate for the project in Q1 next year. How much drilling is required to complete that, given there is so much, drill core and samples to draw on?
Well, we would like to add at least another 10,000 meters of drilling to that. That's the plan, is at least 10 up to 15,000 meters of a combination of RC and core.
Thank you. And is there a historical resource on the project or exploration target?
Nothing that's been released, no.
Next question here. So you've raised 6.5 million for the acquisition. Will this also fund the drill program?
No, not in its entirety. It'll get us going, but we hope to spend in the order of about 800 Aussie a month when we're at full steam, with between 3 and 4 rigs, depending on single or double shifts for some of the rigs.
Sure. Next question. Just in regards to your experience in Africa, how does this project differ to where you've been previously? In, you know, a lot of people know you from Perseus, which was Ghana, obviously.
Similar in some ways. The infrastructure is probably better than even we had it in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. The roads are good. The rail, the smelter is within 100 k's. They're all big things. There's townships nearby. It's on private land. So it's all held by farmers. The land's held by farmers. The mineral rights are owned by the state, obviously. Look, it's pretty good infrastructure. I like the infrastructure. I like the fiscal arrangements in country. So English speaking as well. Namibia, which is key. So yeah, it's up there. It's certainly up there. It's probably easier than Ghana is now, in many respects. So yeah, it's one of those darling countries.
Thank you. Next question. How much cash is required to complete the acquisition? When are these payments due, and what are the intentions to fund that?
Okay, so the first payment's the $3 million US on completion. The second payment is another $3 million at the completion of a feasibility study. There's no time limit on the feasibility study. Then the third payment is $2 million US on decision to mine. And then the final payment is $2 million on 12 months after commercial production. So apart from the first payment, the next 3 payments, we'll know the economics of the project before we have to pay them. It's also showing confidence from Nexa that there will be a mine in their view there. They were happy to back end the payments. So for 17 cents in the dollar or whatever, we are able to pick up significant database and drill information, etc., with the first $3 million payment. So the feasibility study, I don't know when that's going to be completed, but that's down the track. And mining, of course, that's way down the track. So it's a good arrangement.
Thank you. How does this system compare to other world-class systems you've worked on in Africa?
Well, let's compare geologically. The Otavi mountain fold belt is similar, or very, very, very similar to the Zambian and Congolese geologically. However, our deposits are structurally controlled. We don't have the big, broad strata-bound horizons that you get in Zambia and Congo. But the structurally controlled deposits in the area can be fairly big, as defined by SUNEB, which is about 30 million tonnes of 18% copper, lead, zinc. So again, high grade. So they're not the big world-class, they're not the big 5 million tonnes of copper deposits you get in Congo, but these deposits are really high grade and can have some decent grade and metal to them.
Thank you. This is a 2-part question. Did you show any interest in the nearby Combat mine and infrastructure that is undergoing a sales process? And secondly, are you still looking to expand your land holding in country? So
on the first part, yeah, we reviewed combat just what was online. It's quite deep now, the Congo combat mine. It's got a bit of infrastructure. Obviously got good head frames and it's got a small plant, etc. I believe that's been sold already now for around about 25 million US for 80%. It's a bit deep for my liking for us. It's down. It's been mined to about 600 meters. I know they are mining shallower than that, but the best stuff's been mined down to about 600 meters. On the second part, we will look at more tenements. We've only about 40% of our tenure has been soil sampled. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us before we even need to look at anything else. We've got a large land holding. We've got about 2,000 square kilometres.
Thanks, Mark. There are no further questions at this time, so I'll now hand back to you for closing remarks.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening to today's webinar, and yeah, keep a track of our progress over the year as we build up our momentum on this project and put out some exploration results. Thank you.